I invested $150 in January, and by end of February, I had hit my first 9K month, and I was only working 3 days a week in my salon at the time.
What?
Yes.
Man, the power of
And
investing
then
in
after
yourself.
that, yeah, then after that, it was like, okay, then I had my first 10K month. Then I had my first 13K month. It's so crazy that we're having this interview because I literally just taught my first build your nail class virtual workshop. So I actually taught other nail techs how to build their courses or their one-on-one classes or workshops. And so the criteria, I won an award with Candace Holyfield at the Spa Awards in 2022 as best instructor. So because I also teach nail classes. So for a 4 hour class it's $700. For a 6 hour class it's $1,000. And for a 2 day boot camp, which is 5 hours each day, it's $1,500.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And so I actually the defining moment actually for me to go ahead and check in the nail school, even though even though I didn't have the whole 7,000 at that point, I think I had like 4,000. And I was somebody that I was talking to at the time turned me on to Eric Thomas. Anybody can have talent, but I know people remember how you make them feel. And so what I would always hear from people is about how they felt when they went to a certain person, how they felt when they go to a certain salon. So my biggest focus per se, I would say my second biggest focus was obviously the quality of the work, but first focus was how I made you feel, how my communication was with you, because those are the things that most people complain about.
Okay, so what's going on? How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excellent. I feel good, blessed, woke up. So
That's
I'm happy.
good. That's good. That's good. Before we get started, I like to tell the story of how I'm connecting with people, right? But I don't like to tell the story. I like the guest to tell the story, and I want you to tell it in the most authentic way. And the reason I do this is because I want to start painting this picture to let my audience know, the people that's following this journey, let them know how I'm connecting with people. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give you the chance just to say, how we connected. Because sometimes I feel like if it comes from me, sometimes people may think that I'm maybe fabricating a story, but I want you to tell it just as authentic as it is.
So how you and I connected?
Right.
Okay. um, you reached out to me via Instagram DM,
hmm
and I'm a person, I always check everything because I know the spammers and scammers are, they are
Right.
out in full force in the social media streets. So I'm like, okay, who is this? I'm like, let me go see. I looked at your page. So I'm like, okay, I think I might have Googled too. I think I might have Googled you too or something. But anyway, everything seemed on the up and up. So I was like, okay, cool. Um, I like anybody that's creating platforms such as this. We got so many other platforms going on that's, not really elevating um us, So I like the concept here. So I'm like, well, let's see. I'm down.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you know what? Before we go any further, I
Mhm.
forgot to introduce you because I got straight into that. But
Right.
so for the people that's listening, the people that's watching, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Hour of Change podcast. And as you guys know that with every episode, you never think the same, you never move the same, you never work the same because the information we provide will transform your life. And today we have Miss Tamara Mitchell. She is running a successful business in the nail industry. And I am excited for this one because I know it's a lot of women out here that would love to get in this industry. But for some of them, they don't know how to get started, when to get started, what's the first step to take, who to reach out to. And by interviewing somebody that's been dominating in the space, I think that we will be able to provide valuable information for those as well, as long as hearing your story. So that's what I'm most excited for today, to be able to help the young ones and just anyone, period, that's looking to get in the industry.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, ma'am. So my first question to you is this: if you were to get invited to a networking event, right? Let's say it's a high level networking event, and they give you a chance to speak, right? And let's say they hand you the microphone and you walking up on stage. How would you introduce yourself to everybody and tell them what it is that you do? What would you say? Let's role play for a second. What would you say?
Okay, let's do it. So I would say, hey, I'm Tamara Mitchell, better known as Nail by Tammy. I am an award winning nail artist, business coach, and educator located in Nashville, Tennessee. And I am an advocate for a solid foundation, not only in your technique as a nail artist, but also in your business. And I help elevate other nail techs to the next level through marketing and automated systems.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So the first thing I want to touch on with that is you said you are an award winner. I didn't even know they give awards out for nail techs. That's
Well,
something new to
I
my
don't only
ears.
just I don't only just do nails all day.
Okay, okay, okay. Right, 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 right. So when you said award winning, was that connected to the nails?
It's connected to nails, and all of it's connected to nails, but it's in different
Right,
lanes. So I won an award at a competition back in 20, I think that was 2017, and it was a competition surrounded around like the foundation of nails. And so because that's
right,
always been like the most important thing, not even just with nails, in anything, the foundation has to be solid. And so
right,
I won first place in that competition. It was called Salon Success Competition. And then I won an award with Candace Holyfield at the Spa Awards in 2022 as Best Instructor. So, because I also teach nail classes
right.
as well, and I also ventured into now business coaching.
Shout out to Miss
So,
Holyfield, man. She is one of the most authentic women that I've had the chance to connect with. We did an interview a few months ago, and man,
uh huh,
she's such an amazing person. Such an amazing person. So shout
yeah,
out
she
to Miss
is.
Holyfield,
She's
six
lit.
figure spy chick.
Yes, that's my coach. That's my coach.
Really?
Yeah, uh huh. Yep, currently.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yes.
So I want to digress a little bit. And how did you get started in this industry?
Well, I've always loved nails. Like since I was 11, I started going to the nail salon as a young girl with my mom, and I always wanted to become a nail tech. So once I
Right,
kind of I'm from Detroit, born and raised in Detroit, and so Detroit was back then in the '90s was like the hair capital of the world. And so, of course, we know under hair or cosmetology falls other beauty um, services. And so nails was really popular at that time too in the black community. And so I was always around it. And I just kind of fell in love with it. I fell in love with all the different ways you can get creative, the different tools you can use to create this look and that look. So I always had my
right.
heart set on becoming a nail tech.
Got you.
But
Um,
uh-huh.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so but after high school, I wanted to go to nail school after high school, but I ended up going to college instead, which I'm grateful for. I'm glad I did. But yeah, my mom wasn't having it. She was like, "You can go to college, and then after that, you do whatever you want to do, but you going to school."
Really?
hmm
And I want to put a pin right there because I feel like a lot of people deal with that same situation. Like they know what they want to do, or they may have, yeah, they may want to do something else, but their parents sometimes, especially in the black homes, like, no, you going to college, you going to college.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
looking back, or for the person that's dealing with that right now, right? Or they feel like they know what they want to do, but their parents is telling them, "Hey, I want you to go to college." What kind of advice you have for that person? What would you tell them?
So I'm gonna advise that even in going to college, you need to be strategic. So I didn't go to college because I didn't know how it would all play out. I didn't know if I would ever get the opportunity to go to nail school or become a nail tech. So I was always taught if you do something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. So
Right.
even when I went to college, I was strategic. I picked something that I love. When I went, what I loved required too much of me. So I changed my major to something else I love. I never just
Mm,
went to school just to go to say I got a degree.
right.
So what I did and what I got my degree in, which is IT, I love that. So if I couldn't do nails anymore and I had to go back to corporate America and do that, I would be happy. Of course, I would miss
Got
my
you.
freedom, but I would love what I did. So you need to be strategic in whatever you do. Don't just go to school just because. Also, sometimes I feel like sometimes parents want you to go to school, not even so much that they're looking for you to complete it. It's just to go and get that experience, get that exposure to a level of responsibility that college pushes you to, at least a HBCU for sure, because you
Right.
are literally on your own. You have to literally like take everything and initiate everything and handle everything on your own. So
Mm-hmm.
it really teaches you responsibility.
Got you. And
Hmm.
as we progress in the conversation, my next question is, when did you decide to actually turn this thing into a business?
Oh well, it always was that. It
Really?
never was. I never nails was never like gonna be no side hustle play thing for me,
No?
and that's never no. And I think that's what it has been for so long, especially amongst like independent um nail techs or especially independent black nail techs. I'm just going off of what I grew up around and what I still see. Nails has always been looked at like it's dominated by the Asian community from an actual business perspective, and then we just
Right.
kind of come in and do nails on the side as a side hustle.
Right.
But I never looked at it like a side hustle. I looked at this like, no, I'm gonna leave corporate America and I'm gonna do this full time. Even when I was working in corporate America, I got my license while I was working full time. When I got my license, I was working part time doing nails. Like I was posting on social media. I had my business name. Like it never was for play.
So you was at corporate America first. Where you was at, if you don't mind telling us?
I worked at Assurion. They
Mm,
sell the cell phone insurance and different insurances for electronics and things off of Amazon and all that. So that's who I worked for. I worked in the IT department. So um I was a automation developer. So I created automated frameworks to test the front end applications, to test the application that you would go on online and submit your claim for your phone. So I tested all that stuff and I
got
worked
you.
with the
So,
developers. Hmm.
so while you was there, I guess the idea or the love for nails was still in the back of your mind, like, hey, I need to get back into it, or I need to do this. So
Yeah.
what was the turning point along that journey of assuring on to getting back into it, or like what was that like?
So the actual turning point was I had moved away from Nashville to Coldwater, Michigan, which Coldwater, Michigan is, you probably been to a concert with more people in it than the city that I lived in. And so while I was up there, I got a lot of additional knowledge and experience under my belt in IT. And so it was nothing to do there. Like outside of hanging with my coworkers, it was nothing to do. So I was like, "Ooh, this will be a perfect time for me to go to nail school while I'm up
Right.
here." But the problem was because I live like so off in the cut, scheduling wise, it just didn't work. Like it was basically like a little village I was living in, and so it would take me an hour to get to school, and it just wouldn't work time wise. And at this point, I was like, okay, if I can't get it done up here, like I gotta move back to Nashville. So my goal was like I was gonna go ahead and do school while I was there, but I couldn't do it, and I was like, I gotta do it now. So I moved back to Nashville, and like less than a year later, I no, a year and a half later, I went to nail school. That was my main thing. Like once I got back, I got back with my same company, same team, and everything. But I was making more money because I had gotten more information under my belt or more knowledge under my belt and skills. And then I started nail school in September of 2013.
When you say that you got more information, you start making more money because you got more information and knowledge under your belt. That was linked to Ashurion.
Right, that was linked to Asurion. So I came back
Okay,
making more money, and my goal was to use my money that I was making to pay for nail school, and that's essentially what
got you.
happened. I saved my money over a year and a half, and I went to the school. Like literally, I spent that year and a half stacking my money for nail school,
You know,
and then I went.
you just said something. Sorry, you just said something so important that I don't want I don't want to miss it. You said that you got more experience, more knowledge under your belt, and that allowed you to make more money. And sometimes people be wanting an increase in pay without an increase in knowledge or increase in learning a new skill. And that's a valuable point you just made that I don't want people to miss at all.
Yeah, definitely, especially if you want.
Very
Like my whole thing was, I'm gonna let this job fund my dream. So I left here, went up there to the other job, and that's where I learned how to do actual application development and automation development. So when I came back here, like they had to pay me like almost 30,000 more. So I was like, "Ooh, this is perfect. Now I can go ahead and stack my money to pay for nail school because I knew nail school was gonna be like $7,300, and that's what I
$7,300
did."
for I feel you on that. You did what you had to do. So you know what's the beautiful thing about that is that you knew what you wanted to do and you went and did it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
right there, my question would be, what challenges did you experience during that time? Because you know, life has a funny way of when you know what you want to do, it's gonna throw obstacles on your way to see how bad you really want the thing you say you want to do.
Right.
So like, what were
So I
some challenges and experience you faced?
so one of the I'll say one of the challenges was, so I was trying to save up like the whole 7,000, right? And so I've always been one of those people which I've started to break this way of thinking over the past few years. But I'm one of those people like if I don't have the money, I don't even want to go look at it. I don't want to find out about it, nothing. Until I have the money or what I think I need for it, I don't want to even look at it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to, which is the total opposite of manifesting, right? So,
Right.
so I don't want to see it or anything. And so I actually, the defining moment actually for me to go ahead and check in the nail school, even though I haven't, even though I didn't have the whole 7,000 at that point, I think I had like 4,000. And I was somebody that I was talking to at the time turned me on to Eric Thomas. That's
E.T.
literally what it was. Yeah, somebody turned me on to ET in 20 at the beginning of 2013. And it was literally like a week before I went to actually look at the school or go talk to the school, meet with them, and set up a time. I was looking at one of his videos, and he was like, stop saying you don't have the money. Stop saying you don't have the time. Stop saying this. Like, it should be no excuse. You don't even you haven't even checked it out to figure out what you need. So you might have more than enough. And literally, like that next day, I called the school, scheduled the tour, and I went up there. And because in my head, I'm thinking like I need the full 7 on my own because I had loan money and stuff from undergrad, so I didn't think I had any
Right.
money left. So I was like, you know what, let me stop. That basically, when I heard him say that, I was like, you know what, I don't have the full amount, but let me just go and see. You never know. I might not even like the school. They came highly recommended, but I may not like it. So I went. I visited the school. The staff was great. It was busy in there. The students were working. Like, cause I had went and visited other schools, and that was totally not the case at those schools. And this school came recommended. And so I met with the financial aid lady, and she was like, "So, how would you, be able to pay?" And I was like, "Well, I got like 4 in cash." And I was like, I don't have any other like student loan money left." And she was like, "Okay." She was like, "Well, let me see." Man, and she said, "Oh, I got the rest covered." I went on here and signed up that day.
Let's go.
Now, mind you, I would
Let's
have
go.
kept
Look at
waiting.
God.
Yeah, I would have kept waiting.
Man, you know the power in listening to positive things.
Hmm.
It's really power in that, man, because ET, from what I know, from what I'm hearing, that transform your mind.
Yeah, it did.
And that's one of the things that I am so big on. I push other people to do. Hey, you need to read the books. You need to listen to the podcast. You need to listen to the positive things that help grow your mind, because if not, you'll be stuck in the same place day after day, week after week, month after month, and not progressing. And like you said,
Exactly.
if you had not listened to that ET video, tell them when you would have went and signed up for the school.
Yeah, it might have been 2014, 2015. I don't know. Because, like you said, life happens. So I don't know what would have stopped me along the way from being able to get that money up faster.
Man, that's amazing. So here you are now,
Hmm.
signing for the school. What is that experience like going to nail tech school? And I want you to speak to the people that are looking to go in that industry. They want to go to the nail tech school. So tell us from that experience to those people that's looking to do the same thing.
So the thing about nail schools in general, we have to know, and I had to learn this over time. The school is there to teach you the foundation of nails, or the technical foundation of nails, right? But honestly, their true goal is for you to teach you according to state board regulation. And so what state board cares about is your sanitation and cleanliness, and they don't really care about you laying acrylic, you know what I'm saying, and having the skills to pay the bills. But when you really think about it, right? Any institution that you're in, any educational institution, they're not going to give you everything. They are laying the foundation. That's it.
Right,
So you have to come out of school and work at a particular job and hope they give you that, get some good on the job experience. You might have to get some certifications. So it's the same thing with nails. So when you go into a nail school, you do want to make sure that one, you want to make sure that the school is actually caring about the students and not just trying to get your tuition money. Because I did experience that in visiting different schools. But the goal for the school is to learn the very basic foundation, the sanitation and disinfection and all that stuff, the diseases and disorders. That's really what school is for to get you to state board. This is just the harsh reality. Now, somebody that works for a school might say something totally different. I'm telling you what it
Right.
is. So you cannot avoid, depending on the pace at which you want to be successful, you cannot avoid investing time and money in learning from someone else like myself who teaches one-on-one classes. So I'm teaching you my way. I'm teaching you my proven techniques. I'm teaching you the skills that's going to pay the bills, not the long, complicated, incorrect, improper way that they taught you in school. So, because they did the same thing to me. Now, I was fortunate to have a good teacher. I will say that. But everybody is not that fortunate. So, um, and I still had to take classes, go to workshops and things like that. And so, when you're looking for a school, don't have in your mind that I'm looking for a school to teach me how to come out laying acrylic like how the popular nail tech on Instagram might be or how I might be. That it's not gonna happen.
they just they
I'm just
just
very
there for the
blunt and honest.
foundation. No, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that because we need more people that just
Yeah.
want to tell it the way it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here you
So
are in nail school. You get done with that. What was the next move after that? Did you immediately? Because sometimes a lot of people after they finish school, they want to go and okay, I got the knowledge now. I'm gonna go ahead and open me up a storefront. Um, what was your next move with that?
so my next move that I wanted to do, I wanted to just leave corporate America and do nails full time. That's really what I wanted to do. I really didn't even think like storefront or anything. Um, I wasn't even thinking like, oh, I didn't want to work in a shop. It just was like I just want to be able to do nails full time. I really wasn't even thinking about in what that looked like. And so, but what I did know is that according to, what I'm saying, my finances and my cost of living and what it took to be me, um, I knew that I couldn't at that point just quit my job and do nails full time because I know you have to build up a clientele and the math has to math. And so it wasn't
Right.
mathing. So I'm like, okay, I can't just quit my job. I can't just quit my job and do nails. So my plan was to stay at my job. I knew I was up for like a promotion or increase. So I knew I could, start getting close to the 100K and a year. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna just slowly fund me moving up out of corporate America with I'm gonna let my job fund my dream. And um, so yeah, so that was my plan. But then something else happened. So 4 months after I got my license, so you have to go to school. I had to go for 8 months because I was part time. So I was working full time, 8 to 4, and then I was racing to school after work and go to school for 4 hours, 5 hours. So this was every day of the week. So um, so I did that, got my license. After 4 months after getting my license, well, immediately after getting my license, I worked with another young lady in like a salon suite. And so I worked with her doing booth rent. And so I couldn't figure out like, man, I just really want to do this and only this. So anyway, literally 4 months of doing that, working with her, I had my license. My job laid us off and they gave us
Hmm.
severance. And they didn't let us go that day. We still had 45 days. So I
What
got an
is
eight thousand
severance?
dollar check. Huh?
What is severance?
So severance pay is where they pay you a certain amount for the amount of years that you've been a full time employee with the company. when they do layoffs.
Mm.
So they were offering where you could do severance pay, or one of the other teams that wasn't getting let go. If you want to go over there and apply for a position with them, you can do that. But I was ecstatic. Like, they literally brought us in a room. There was a tape. There was two tables in the back of the room with manila envelopes. I was like, "Oh, this the day," because I already knew we were gonna get laid off at some point. I just didn't know when it would happen. I was like, "Something about to happen today," because it's too random. And all these envelopes on the back table, something's up. And they let us. And they said, "We have to let you go." People had just moved from other states. People had just started their
Wow.
master's programs. I mean, all type of stuff. Everybody's crying, and they mad. I'm up there just smiling ear to ear, because I'm like, this is it. Like, this is I couldn't have
You
planned this better.
you've been preparing for this moment.
Right. So, and when they say you could take severance, I'm like, oh shoot, okay, I've been with the company 3 years full time. Um, so my check ended up being $8,000. So, and I still had 45 days. So that was the end. That was December 2020. That was December 2014. So they still let us stay at the company for 45 days. So our last day really it wasn't until February, I think like February 9th of 2015. But they were letting everybody go. So like my manager, everybody. So my manager always knew that I wanted to do nails because he knew I was in school. He was like, "You sure this is what you want to do? You sure you want to be here?" I'm like, "Yeah, oh yeah, I love IT," which I do. But I couldn't let him all the way in. And so when they let us go, he was like, "Tam, I know you want to go do nails. Just come to work a couple hours out the week and you can go do nails." So that's what I did. So I launched my business on January 5th, 2015.
Launch the
And
business.
I found a suite. It was crazy. Literally the week that they gave us the layoff notice in December, that weekend, I found a suite. And I just stumbled upon it. The lady who did my brows at the time, she was in a salon suite and she was like, "Oh, we have a nail suite," because I told her I was in school and I hadn't seen her. And I was like, "Oh, I got my license now." She was like, "Oh, I got a suite for you. Da 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 da." And she showed me it was a nail suite. It already had the table in it, the pedicure chair, everything. And I took it. And the rest was history.
The rest was history. The rest was history.
Hmm.
So before I get into that whole conversation about, of where you at now on the journey of, okay, now I'm in the suite, I want to know, oh man, I forgot the question. I want to know what was what was it like? Hold up. Hey, it was a very important question I wanted to ask you. Oh, how how long have you been a full-time entrepreneur?
Since January 5th, 2015.
Since January 5th, you've been a full-time entrepreneur. Okay.
2015, yep.
So you got the suite, right? How did you begin to market yourself and bring people into the to your business?
Well, I
Because you
already
could have
had
a
some
suite and
clients.
don't have no business.
Correct, correct. So I already had some clients from when I was working with the other young lady. But of course everybody didn't follow me. I did a lot of marketing on social media. Um I did some pounding the pavement, like passing out business cards and stuff like that. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, that's it was kind of a balance between, okay, I got this $8,000. I know it can last me for 4 months, but then I know I still can't just rely on that. I gotta go hard with marketing. And so at that time in 2015, I'll say 95% of my clientele came from Instagram.
Mm, the
But
power of social
you didn't
media.
it wasn't a full production back then. It was just you post a picture, you put hashtags, and tell people to click the link in the bio. I mean, or DM you. That was it back then. As long as the set looked good, that was enough. And then, word of mouth. Also, another thing, I listened to people as they started to come in. I started to, get clients. I listened to people too. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, everybody's a nail tech, right? Anybody can have talent. But I know people remember how you make them feel. And so what I would always hear from people is about how they felt